What's up guys, welcome back to another Kangen What If battle. Today we have Julius vs Rayen. Make sure to check out the playlist with the rest of these What If battles and make sure to leave a comment down below of what battle you want me to cover next. It can be within Kangenverse and I may consider doing a Kangen and outside of Kangenverse match, so we'll see what happens. Hope you enjoy and let's go. As always, I'll be doing two What If battles. First one will be during the Kangen Ashura Annihilation Tournament time span, and then one with more prediction based, going over how they would fight in current chapter 65 Omega. But first I'll go over each of the characters, attributes, talents, and anything that will help them during their What If battle. So first up we have Julius Reinhold, also known as the Monster. His age in Ashura is 36 and now in Omega is 38. His Kangen record is 52 wins and 1 Kangen loss. This was during the second round against Wakatsuki. His biggest advantage over many other fighters is his weight and size. His weight being 210 kilograms, which is absolutely insane, and his height being over 200 centimeters, which is also just as insane. Just the biggest fighter that we've seen in Kangen, with most likely the biggest muscles. Wakatsuki has known as the most dense muscles in Kangen, while our boy Julius has the biggest and most Chadley muscles in Kangen. For his power and abilities, he had extremely high developed muscles. This is mainly part from steroid use to pretty much get his muscles bigger enough they can. His steroid use went to the extremes, stating that it could kill an average person if they were to take the amount that he took, meaning his genetics are far superior than many others as well. His colossal physical strength, durability, and destructive power are shown during his training backstory, where he was able to pull against an F1 race car or with chains strapped around him, showing that his force alone can pair a car going at like 200 speed. As I mentioned before, his body weight exceeding 200 kilograms, which is insane, and this adds to his overall power. He was defeated by Wakatsuki in the second round due to mainly because his lack of technique, and that Julius had a lot more drive and will to win, and just had a lot more, we should say, experience and this technique based attacks to overpower him. Kano Ogito stated that there was two fighters in the Annihilation Tournament who outclassed Wakatsuki when it comes to power. One of them is Julius and the other, surprisingly enough, is Kurei Rayen, so that's good to note. He hasn't used any name techniques that we've seen, and it's good to note that he isn't just a brute with no intelligence, that he has some or pretty high levels of intelligence, being able to study sports psychology, sports medicine, and like a whole lot of stuff such as physics, biology, and a whole lot of other elements to enhance his body so he knows how to use his body to get the maximum potential out there. So he's not the dumbest fighter, but he tends to go down the brute force way of fighting instead of technique based like many other fighters, and that's pretty much why or how he ended up losing against Wakatsuki, alongside Wakatsuki's very Chadley blast claw technique. Now to talk about our boy Kurei Rayen, also known as the Devil, with a Kangen record of 1 win and 1 loss, also defeated in the second round, but his defeat was to Tokita Oma, and his current age in Omega is 23, with his age being in Ashura 21. For his physique or stats, his weight is 94 kilograms and his height is 188, so he's a little bit shorter and about over 100 kilos lighter than Julius, which will come into play definitely in the battle. His power and abilities, he has a pretty much deviant heritage that gives him a extraordinary rare genetic mutation at an early age, having the highest amount of the pretty much hidden potential of a Kurei man in the form of the removal technique unlocked, giving him 100% removal rate, which is the highest in the history of the Kurei clan. And with this is what allows him, or what Kano Ogito stated allows him, to surpass Wakatsuki in terms of raw power. But it's still, I'm going to be going over if that can match Julius in terms of raw power in this video. He's also shown to have incredible durability, being able to suffer immense wounds and then continue to fight and absorb many of those attacks. But the biggest issue he had during the Annihilation Tournament was, playing with his opponents and wanting to go with an all-out brawl, and kind of like Julius, not using any techniques and just wanting to have not fun, or Kurei Rayen wanted to have fun, Julius not really fun, Julius just wanted to win, but Kurei Rayen to have fun with his opponent and just have a fun, brawling, crazy match with his opponent. And he doesn't use any real named or Kurei style named techniques until Kangen Omega, so I won't mention those until the Kangen Omega aspect of the fight. So now if they were going to fight during Kangen Ashura's Annihilation Tournament, I'll say round 1 or full health, them two just going at each other with no restrictions, just to the death. I'm going to assume Kuro Rain won't be using any Kure based techniques because he didn't use any against his 2 fights in the Annihilation Tournament. So I'm going to be guessing he doesn't want to use them or doesn't know how to use them at this point. So I'm just going to not consider them during the first fight, as he didn't use or showcase being able to use any of them during this part of the story. So these two going at each other, they fight kind of similar, like brawling crazy, this manic big Chad muscle boys just fighting each other. So what will most likely happen, me personally, base form Kuro Rain versus Julius, the power difference is immense. Julius will be able to stomp Kuro Rain if he's in base form. Kuro Rain was probably getting tossed around and kind of fucked up by Robinson in the first round when he was in base. It only changed when he went into 100% removal and completely fucked him up. And then Kuro Rain's fighting its own advanced versus removal. Kuro Rain had won that battle of advanced versus removal, but only lost to technique. So Julius doesn't have technique. Kuro Rain won't be using any technique. So he'll start off with a brawl. Kuro Rain will be getting fucked up, tossed around, getting bodied quite easily by Julius, just having that 100 kilo advantage over him, or more than 100 kilo at this point. Just tossing him around. This will lead Kuro Rain to go to the 100% removal. That's where the real brawling insanity will happen. My opinion, just based on Kano Gito's statement that 2 people best Wakatsuki in terms of raw physical power, and that's Kuro Rain and Julius. So if the 2 people that best Wakatsuki were to go at each other, I think they would be about the same when it comes to raw physical strength when Kuro Rain is at peak 100% removal healthy rate. So 100% removal Rain versus Julius will be pretty much 50-50 going back and forward, going into each other, and then it will end up drawing down who has more durability, or whether Kuro Rain will be able to keep the 100% removal active long enough to defeat Julius. If he's able to keep it long enough active to pretty much take out Julius' durability, which is highly unlikely based on how he was able to tank a Wakatsuki Blast Core, which is probably one of the strongest physical based attacks in the whole series, I would see the fight turning out where it'll start off equal, about 60% difficulty at first, and then about when around the 70%, they're both about 30% left in their tank. This is where Kuro Rain will lose pretty much his endurance, and he'll lose the ability to continue using the advance, and this is where Julius will take over the fight and most likely win. I'm about 90% confident that if the fight was to go this way, if they were to go raw fighting 1-on-1, 100% removal versus Julius, all full health is going at each other, it'll end with a Julius win with about 75% damage to Julius. It'll be a close fight, but I still think Julius will be able to manhandle him quite easily once the removal is gone. And the only way Kuro Rain will be able to win this fight if his removal lasts at a certain amount of time. And based on the stamina he had shown during the Annihilation Tournament, I don't think it will. So based on that assumption, I'm going to give the win to Julius during the Annihilation Tournament time frame, just based on him having more endurance and how much Kuro Rain will need to rely on his removal to stay in the fight. Now to talk about a fight between them in the Kangen Omega time frame, or current Kangen Omega time frame. So they're both representing Team Kangen against Purgatory in the tournament they're currently having at the current chapter of the manga, with neither of them having their battle yet. During the 2-year time skip, Julius has shown to get bigger and more Chadley than what he did during the Annihilation Tournament, which is even more insane to think about, that he got bigger than what he was during the Annihilation Tournament. So we haven't seen any of his training yet, but you can consider that he's a bit more powerful and may even have some technique based under his fighting style now. For Kuro Rain, we've seen more of him. We've actually seen him use Kuro style techniques. One that we've seen him use goes by the name of Lion Bait, where he was able to take out a large majority of the worm members with a single technique, just pretty much twisting their heads and taking them out with very ease. And showing that he has great proficiency with the Kuro clan technique, so he has that, and he seems to be more mature and more tactical when it comes to fighting, while still keeping his same insane way of fighting as a base of his character. So if they were to fight in Omega's time span now, this is my thoughts. The fight will start off completely different, with Kuro Rain being more tactical about the fight. So this will end up with Kuro Rain probably pulling out 100% removal alongside Kuro techniques, and eventually the fight will be somewhat similar to the start, but it'll be more on Kure Rain's side just based on how insane the Kure techniques have shown to be, and also how he acts around Oma. So as we know, during the Annihilation Tournament, Wakatsuki, who defeated Julius, and Tokita Oma, who defeated Rain, I mean. When they two had their battle in the semi-finals, Tokita Oma was able to defeat Wakatsuki. So with that logic alone, and how Kure Rain acts around Tokita Oma currently, saying that they're kind of equals, and he acts like they're equals, showing that Kure Rain probably did a lot of training with Oma during the last 2 years, and probably developed a lot more fighting-wise and pretty much technique-wise than what Julius probably did, just having a partner. I tend to see Julius as pretty much kind of alone and would have been fighting alone. So with that assumption, I'm going to assume that Kure Rain would have got stronger and developed a lot more during the 2 years than what Julius would have alone. He could have been training with other people, but just my assumption is that he was most likely training alone somewhere. So the question of who will win, my pretty much idea is that Kure Rain will be able to win during the current Omega time frame, and only due to how he's changed and become more tactical over the 2 years, and especially the implementing of the Kure clan technique, with only one of them being able to show to get a large majority of people with absolute ease, no effort really at all, and then being able to just body people. So I would assume that he has even more techniques, and the Kure clan are known for their monstrous techniques. So once we get to see their fights, I may remake this video, or I'll be making a lot of videos once we get to see many of the characters' fights during the Purgatory Tournament to see how far they've truly developed. But my current standpoint on how they would fight, I'll go for Omega's win going to Kure Rain at about an 85 to 90% difficulty rate, but I think he'll still be able to win. It'll still be in a brute force bout between the two, with most likely Julius overpowering him in that way, but with the implementing of Kure clan techniques, I think he'll overpower any technique that Julius would have learned over the 2 years and give Kure Rain the win. So that's it for today's What If battle. Kengan Ashura time span, Julius is the win. Kengan Omega time span, Kure Rain is win. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Do you agree with me, disagree with me? Let me know. If you haven't already, make sure to join the Discord to talk more about all of Kengan's greatness. Let me know what If battle you want me to cover next, either in the Discord or in the comments below. Next What If battle will be the most featured or most liked comment that I see that I haven't already done, because people have been commenting ones I've already done recently, so don't be doing that. Make sure to check out the playlist for the other What If battles. And that's it, guys. Peace.